Now we will learn the relation between the fractions, decimal and percentage. If we are given a decimal representation of a number, how to change that to fractions and percentage, and if you are given a fraction, how to change the fraction to a decimal and percent. And the same way with the percent, if you are given some percentage, how to write that in terms of decimal and fraction. So let's learn that. So every fraction, so we talk a little bit about fractions. So whenever we are given a fraction, we can write a fraction into a decimal. So you can use the calculator, or if you can, so for example, if you have 1 over 2, if you will put this in your calculator, it will give you a decimal representation of this fraction that is same as 0.5, right? So we just divide 1 by 2, so that is 0.5. And now we know that if you write here 0.50 after decimal, the last zeros, it's the same, it's the same as this. We can add as many as zeros at the end. It's just 0.5. So now we are going to learn, if you know the decimal, how to change that to the percentage. So percent also you can see that as out of 100. So percent is always out of 100. So that means in the percent we need 100 in the denominator. Something, so for example, if I say a divide by 100, so a out of 100, suppose you are getting some points, 84 out of 100, so that is 84%, right? So here I will write this as a%. So whenever the denominator, something is out of 100, that is the numerator is whatever the number is, we use that as to write the percent. So it is called a%, and we use this sign for the percentage. And now in this case it is 1 over 2. So you can either use the fraction to write the percent, or you can write the decimal, use the decimal to write the percent. I will explain both things. So we need the denominator 100 to write down the percent. So what we have to do here to get here 100? So I have to include one middle fraction here. So it is 1 over 2. I have to include a middle fraction. So what I have to multiply with 2 so that I get 100. So I have to multiply this with 50. So whatever I have to do to the denominator, do the exact same thing to the numerator. Multiply numerator also by 50. Right? Because we can multiply both the numerator and denominator by same number. So what we get 50 in the numerator, denominator is 100. So 1 over 2 is same as 50 over 100. If you have to go backwards, we see that 50 is a common factor. If you have to go in this direction, we cancel out one copy of 50 and we get 1 over 2. Now we are going in this direction. We multiply both the numerator and denominator by 50 because we need the denominator 100. So 50 out of 100. So how we will write this as a percentage? 50%. Clear? So whenever you are given a fraction, try to write the denominator 100 and see what you have to do, what number you have to multiply with the denominator to get 100. Do the same thing to the numerator and just write down a fraction with the denominator 100. The numerator will give you that many percent. So this is how we change fractions to percentage. Okay, now if you have to write decimal to percent, what to do in this direction? If you have to go decimal to percentage, very simple. You just move the decimal sign to 2 units right. Move decimal to 2 units right. So here it is, the decimal is here. If you have to move the decimal 2 units right, 1, and there is no other, that's why we put 0. So 2, so decimal will move here, so we get 50 decimal 0. There is nothing else after that. There are 0 0 zeros, right? So you can say 50 decimal 0 or just 50%. So this is how we change the decimal to percentage. And if you have to change the percent to decimal, we have to do the reverse thing. So let's see here. If you have to change percent to decimal, for example, we have 50%, we have to change to the decimal. So 50% is 50.0%. So we will move the decimal to 2 units left. So this is the rule. Move decimal 2 units to the left. So decimal is here. When you move this 2 units left, it will go 1 and 2 before 5, and there is nothing here, so you get 0.50 or just 0.5 in the decimal representation. If you are moving from percentage to decimal, move the decimal to the left by 2 units, and if you are moving the decimal to percent, you have to move the decimal to 2 units right, just right or left. Okay, so let's now try to answer few questions. Let me write down here a table of values, and then so this is the decimal representation. Here we will write fraction, and here we will write percent. So we can write a number in any one of these 3 forms. So suppose we have 0.40. This is a decimal number. How we can write this into a fraction? So 40. So there are 2 numbers after the decimal. We can remove the decimal sign. Whenever you remove the decimal sign, just count how many numbers are after the decimal. So divide that fraction with 1 and that many 0. So if there is only one number after decimal, you will just put 1 0 after 1. Now there are 2 numbers after decimal, 4 and 0. We will put 2 zeros because there are 2 numbers after decimal. You will say, Preeti, this is same as 0.4. Yes, if it is written as 0.4, you will write 4 over 1 and there is only 1 0. Both numbers are same, both fractions are same. Why? Because you know that we can cancel out the ending zeros from the both numerator and denominator, and we get 4 over 10. So these 2 fractions are same, and this is a fraction representation. And you can further simplify this. 4 and 10 both has 2 common. So you can write 4 and 2, 4 as 2 times 2 and 10 as 2 times 5. And we can cancel out the same factor and we get 2 over 5 here. So this is the fractional representation of this decimal representation of a number. Now, how to write the percentage? We know that to write the percentage, we move this decimal sign 2 units to the right. It will be 40%. Okay, so let's now do one more question. Okay, if you are given now a fraction, how to change fraction to the percentage and decimal? Suppose we are given 33 over 50. So now the question, this is a fraction. Now the question is, find the decimal representation of this and find the percentage representation of this. So let's first change this to percentage. We need 100 here so that we can write the percent. Percent means out of 100. So this is 33 out of 50. Suppose you are taking a course and you get 33 out of 50. But to write down the percentage, you have to convert your grades out of 100. So what we have to do to 50 to get 100? So we need to multiply 50 by 2 to get 100. So exactly do the same thing to the numerator, multiply by 2. So what we get? We get 33 times 2 is 66 over 100. So you get 66 out of 100, that means 66%. Or you can say that it is 66.0%. It's the same thing. Now to write down a decimal representation, we have the percentage representation. To write down the decimal representation, move the decimal sign to the 2 units left. 1, 2. It will be 0.66. This is the decimal representation. You can also write this as 0.66. It's the same thing. So this is how we change the decimal to fractions and percentage and fraction to others. Let's do one problem where we are given the percentage sign. So suppose we are given 30.3%. So write the decimal representation and the fractional representation. Decimal representation is simple. We just move the decimal to 2 places to the left. It will become 0.303. And to write down a fraction, we know that 30.3% means 30.3 out of 100. So now simplify this fraction as much as you can. First remove this decimal, and it is 303. If you will remove this decimal, 100 is already there. You will divide this by 1, and how many numbers are after decimal? There is only 1 3 after decimal, so 1 0. So we get 303 over 1000. This is the fractional representation of 30.3%, and this is the decimal representation of that. So this is the relation between the decimal, fractions and percentage. Thank you so much.